This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/Psychetruth.
I have tons of awesome videos already ready for you. You can join me on Amazon Prime Video. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration. Hey, welcome. Today I have a very special deep burn flow. So if you've been going with me on this 30-day journey of yoga for weight loss, this is a critical video for you to watch so that you start to learn how to get deep into those muscles, especially your stabilizer muscles. They're gonna help you feel super duper strong in your body. As we go through this video, we're gonna hold postures for a while. So you're going to get deep into the burn of your muscles. And if you noticed that you're maybe hitting a plateau, either physically or mentally, these are the type of workouts that help you sort of get through that edge or over the hump so that you feel really strong and you know that you can go past the burn. All right, so we're gonna get started today right away in tabletop. So bring your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And what I want you to do here before you do anything else is make a really deep core connection. So press your shins down into your yoga mat and draw your navel to your spine. From there, keep that navel to spine engagement and pull the sternum forward. So it'll feel like you're actually lengthening the front side of your body without arcing your back. Let that stability stay in the body and then come up onto the finger pads. What this will do is you press through all of your finger pads is that's going to stimulate the entire sleeve of muscle on each of your arms all the way up to your shoulders. And because it's not as stable as being on flat palms, your deep core muscles are going to be on the entire time. Great, so send your left leg up, knee stays bent, so you're engaging the hamstring and the glute, and then swing it out wide like you're in a little fire hydrant. And you're just going to go between those two motions, just finding a little hip mobility, and that might turn into small circles, and if it does, great. But I want you to keep that knee bent. So you're just starting to turn on some of the deep muscles of your hip that helps you rotate. But if going in circles is too much, you can always just take it out to that hydrant and back in. If you are going in circles, switch the direction so that you can balance it out. Great. One more breath. And then release the knee down and soak the palms into the ground. Find a cat back. Draw the navel to the spine. Push into the hands. Good, keep that navel to spine connection and just broaden the chest forward. We'll do the other side. This time you'll press down through the palms, but notice that all of the base knuckles of your hands are really pressing into the earth, like you're trying to palm a basketball. You're trying to grip the ground with your hands. Swing the right leg up and then take it out and do that motion a couple times just to see if there's anything sticky or tense. And if it's feeling all right, start to move it in circles. The belly button is still drawn back towards the spine. It doesn't have to be clenching, but it's firm. You feel some tone in the belly. Good, and then switch the directions. Great. Wonderful. One more breath in, and then the knee down. Draw the belly in, arc the back into your cat pose. Keep the belly to spine connection. Pull the chest forward, tuck your toes, come back to a bent knee downward facing dog. So knees stay very bent like chair pose, press the heels low. Try to lift the sit bones up as the heart melts through. Take another breath in here and then begin to release the back of the knees, the heels go long. One breath in, one breath out. And then step your right foot forward. We'll come into our first hold. So as your right foot comes forward, foot between the hands, or if you're feeling sticky in the hip, heel toe your right foot wide. And what this does, it just gives your body a little extra space. So if you do come wide with the foot, you can be up on your finger pads, but I want you to stamp all four corners of that right foot down and stay very engaged in the back leg. Isometric hold, the belly is so strong that you can even lift the fingertips up off the earth if you wanted to. If that's feeling a little unsteady, you just bring your hands down. But it's always a good place to check in. Can I lift my hands off the ground? And if you can, you know that you're really strong in the legs and really strong in the core. Good. I can already start to notice that my front leg is getting a little more fatigued than my back leg, and that's an indication that it's doing a lot of work, but also that I could incorporate my back leg a little bit more, so tone the muscle to the bone. Good, and now release the back knee down. You can untuck the toes and press the shin down, come up to the crescent lunge. Engage the left glute. So that's gonna release into the deep hip flexor muscle of your left side. Reach the arms up into your crescent. And then take your right hand over to your left forearm. Lift the waist really tall and long and then side bend over. From there, the belly button draws in, pubic bone up towards the belly button, and then the pelvis can melt. So you're still strong in that front leg. Breathe into the side body. This is not about flexibility as much as it is about stability first, hugging into that midline so the front heel hugs to the back knee, and then you lift up out of the waist. Great. Reach the fingertips back up, plant the hands, coming into our second longer hold, and it's going to be a floating Hanumanasana. So Hanumanasana is the splits. This will be similar, but your pelvis will not be near the ground. So tuck the back toes. You're going to want to come onto finger pads. Extend your front leg long and your back leg. You're going to be up on your back heel. Front toes can be down, or you can be up on your front heel. So with your back heel up and your front heel down, hug the inner thighs past one another and pull the chest forward. Again, you want to look for some inner thigh strength and low belly strength. You should easily be able to pick up one hand or the other to know that you have a lot of stability going on in this posture. So right here, we're doing so many things all at once. We're targeting the big burner muscles of the body. We're isometrically holding some of the stability muscles we need to feel strong and stable in any yoga class. And we're also challenging our balance. Additionally, because we're holding our body in longer postures, we do get some great range of motion for our joints. On your exhale, bend into your front knee. You're gonna return to that lunge position and then spiral your back heel down. From the lunge, we'll open to our extended side angle. So try to stay strong in the legs, turn the chest, and then pull the right forearm up onto your right thigh. Before you do anything with this top hand, focus on grounding through the back leg, lengthening through the waist. Press down into the front heel, and you'll notice that'll help you tilt the pelvis just a little bit so your tail is towards your back heel. Now take the top arm up and overhead. We'll be here for a moment, and I want you to get into the burn of your front leg. The tendency here is to back out of the burn. Use your legs. Stand on your legs. They are strong, and they are meant to hold you. Hug the inner thighs a little bit, and the pelvic floor will lift up. Grow the bottom waist. So if you notice you're collapsing down, let the armpit and the hip grow away from one another so that the body has more space. And then from there, the arm is close to the ear. You can turn, gaze under your armpit, gaze at the ceiling. Continue to breathe. I can feel my muscles in the front leg definitely on fire. Stay with it. One more inhale and exhale. Good, the leg's gonna stay bent. Warrior two, bring the torso up. So now there's a little more relief for the front leg just because you don't have as much of the weight of the body on it, but it's still bent, it's still engaged, your back leg is still strong. From here, focus on lifting the waist out of the hips so that everything gets longer. Knit the front ribs in and then send the arms out. Good, hug muscle to bone. Breathe deeply and sink into the heat of this lunge. From there, Continue to lift the spine tall so you're feeling two actions, the stability in the root of your feet, as well as the length up through your crown. Almost there. Take about 2 more breaths. They don't call it warrior for nothing. Good. Come up to star pose. Oh, yes, a little relief. You're going to turn both of your heels in, both your sets of toes out, and then squat down into a goddess or horse, it's sometimes called. Sink low. Tail drops towards the heels. It's not a tuck of the tail, it's just a heaviness. So soak down through your feet so you feel really firm and earthy in your feet. Lift up through your waist and take your hands out wide. Good. So as you're here, I want you to notice the little aches and shakes and quakes in your legs. And instead of bailing out and leaving, I want you to sit deep into them. Good. And so now we're going to turn up the volume just a little bit, press into both toe mounds and lift both heels. As you do that, squeeze your knees back towards the pinky toe sides of your foot. It's a really subtle action. You may not even notice big movement in the body, but you'll definitely feel it in the outer hips. Sit a little deeper. Breathe. Are you breathing? It's really easy and kind of a challenge to not hold your breath when you're in a moment of heat and deep burn. But this is the time that your breath is super duper important, so keep it flowing. Don't be seduced by the burn, breathe through it. One more inhale and exhale. Good, release your heels, burst open to star, and then flip back to your warrior 2. That should feel really nice. Reverse the warrior, big up, and flow through. You can take a chaturanga if you'd like. It may feel really good to stretch the front line of the body in your upward facing dog and shift back, downward facing dog. Whew, pedal out the legs. I definitely can tell that my right leg got really close to fatigue. So moving towards an edge, honoring it, respecting it, but knowing that my body can do a lot, and so can yours. Take another breath in, come to stillness, and a big breath out. Great. Step your left foot forward. We'll take that on the other side. So we're going to start in the lunge with our back knee up. And again, if you're feeling tight in the hips or you need a little more space for your torso, you can bring your foot wide, come onto your finger pads. This is a place where a yoga block works really well too, especially if the ground feels too far. Strengthen in the back leg. So this is essential. The back leg is the extension for the spine. So as you push back, that's where the spine is able to harness and grow the waist a little longer. Hug the inner thighs and the pelvic floor, and at the same time, stamp down through the front foot. This is where you can start to notice, can I pick up a hand? Can I pick up both hands? Do I have that sense of stability? These little subtle, deep practices are really how we advanced our asana practice, our yoga posture practice. So when we start to notice, how can we find a lot of control as well as a lot of flexibility in our body? Good. Take another breath in. Release the back knee down. That should feel like some relief for that front leg. Press a lot through the back shin. Rise up into your crescent. So the tendency here, or sort of the desire, is to let our pelvis sink really low. But instead, start by drawing the pubic bone up and then lift the heart up. So we're creating that internal anchor so that we can grow long in the spine, and then add the side bend. From there, once you notice that you're harnessed into your midline, you may want to express the pose a little deeper, but you're doing it from a sense of control and stability. Don't go lazy in your front leg. Continue to anchor and root down. You'll notice that gives you a firm foundation to lift up and over from. Good. One more in and out. Rise up, plant your hands. We'll come into that floating Hanumanasana, the floating splits. Tuck your back toes, extend both of your legs. Back heel is up, front heel is down. Option to float the front toes. It's not essential, it's not mandatory. Hug the inner thighs. So what you want to feel is that your sacrum is flat towards the ceiling and you can grow your chest forward. A lot of us will lose some of the strength in our back leg here because we feel this momentum forward. I want you to stay just as involved in the back leg. And a great way to test this is, can you lift a hand without losing your balance? Hug the quad muscle to the bone. It'll feel as though the kneecap lifted. You'll notice that your left hip will anchor back. The right hip will come forward. The chest will broaden. So why are we doing this? We are stimulating all of those big burner muscles like our quads and our glutes, but we're also getting those stabilizer muscles. And when we have strong muscles, that revs up our metabolism, which helps us with our weight loss goals. And it also helps us feel really strong, stable, and agile in any of our yoga asana practices or any other workout. Take a few more breaths here. Notice if you are putting a lot of weight in your hands, lighten it up, send a lot of that stability back to the core, back to the legs, and release into the lunge. Spiral the heel down, and we're gonna grow this posture from the ground up. Press through your back leg, press down through your front foot, and then slide your left elbow onto your thigh. Come into this extended side angle. So from here, since you can see the back line of my body, you can notice my tailbone is generally pointing towards my back heel and that this bottom waist is long. So from your hip to your armpit, there should be plenty of air and space. And then take the top arm over your ear, grow the bottom waist. So that really what you're doing is you're pulling some space back into the spine and then turn the heart. If you're white knuckle gripping with your front toes, make sure to press down through your heel. It's going to stimulate your glute as well, so some of those stronger muscles in the body to hold you. Let it shake, quake, and burn, and be with yourself with breath the entire time. One more in and out. Front knee stays bent. Come on up, warrior two. Good, so one of the nice things about that transition is we do take a little bit of weight off that front thigh, but not enough to totally remove the burn. So the challenge here is to sink right back into it, feel the heat of the posture, and then grow the spine nice and long. In yoga, we identify the spine as this kind of super highway of energy. It's what we always want to hug into and radiate out from. And it's where we hold all of our energy centers. So it's really important in yoga, especially, to look for spinal length when you can. And that's why we talk a lot about stability and core strength, so that we have a lot of spinal stability. It's another reason why yoga is so great for anyone who's experiencing low back pain, because you're strengthening all the muscles you need to find a really strong and stable as well as flexible spine. So I notice here my legs are shaking. Honestly, it's just as intense for me as any of our HIIT workouts. I definitely notice that my body's responding to the work, and my challenge here is to keep my breath nice and stable. Good, one more in and out. Great. Star pose, let's go to it. Heels in, toes out, and then squat low into goddess. And so what I want you to notice from this angle is that my knees aren't collapsing forward. You can see that my knees are coming back towards the midline of the foot, and that's just gonna give me a really stable foundation to press down into the earth. And then from there, the pelvic floor can lift up. So often people think that they need to tuck their tail here, and that's not what's happening at all. You wanna maintain natural curve in the lumbar, but you do wanna lift up the belly and feel heavy in the tail. So that will just be turning on all the outer hip muscles, turning on the pelvic floor, turning on the glutes a little bit, as well as the deep core. Now let's find that little challenge with our heels up. And this time, as you bring your elbows out wide, spread through your fingers, and we're just going to shift side to side. So one heel will drop, the other lifts higher, and you switch. And see if you can make each switch very fluid. almost as though your pelvic bowl is like floating in space. Almost there. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Heels down, burst open to star, and then switch back to your warrior 2. A big stretch in your reverse warrior should feel nice for the side body, and then take it down, you flow. Upward facing dog, loop the shoulder heads back. You can lift your gaze, but don't throw the head back. And then downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out, perhaps pedaling the legs a little bit. Loosen that up. On your next breath in, look forward, come to the top. Halfway lift, bow and fold. Come up to a chair pose. Take your hands to your heart. We'll bring our feet hips width distance in this chair. So hips way back, belly in and up, hands to your heart. Good. And then just sit low and lower. Continue to lower to the ground. Slow and steady. If you notice, oh, I'm going to tip over, stay with yourself, you won't. And then drop your seat, boat pose. Squeeze the inner thighs, hands to your heart, lift your chest, flare through your toes. Stay with yourself, hold and breathe. Notice if there's any space to extend the legs, to reach the arms out. I can see my body shaking when I try to take this more extended variation of boat. That's just telling me that my muscles are a little bit fatigued. 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down. Nice work. So come on down to your back. Just a couple more long holds before we get the best hold, Shavasana. Set up for bridge pose. Walk your sit bones and your heels close together. So your heels might feel a little bit closer in than you think they should. They should be close enough that your fingertips can touch them. And then draw the belly button to the spine, lift into your bridge, and then send your chest towards your chin. The neck will stay long. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you. Root down through the four corners of both feet, and the inner thighs will then spin towards the floor, feeling heavy as the hip tips rise up. Very often we end up cranking the low back here. I want you to send your tailbone to the back of your knees and your belly button and your pubic bone up towards your heart. So we're holding this bridge. We've done bridge in this 30-day challenge before, but this hold is going to be a little bit longer, and we're going to play with shifting our weight. So what that's going to do is that's going to ask some of the deep muscles of our body to really stabilize us, and it's going to challenge the big burner muscles of our body as well. So we're kind of getting the double whammy. Good. So the left foot's going to come central. Draw your right knee in towards your chest and then kick your foot up to the ceiling. You'll notice deep burn on the left side. What you can do here is harness the muscle to the bone on the left leg so that that muscle is really helping to hold the heavy leg bones up. Good. Stay for one more in and out. And then just as carefully place your right foot down. You're going to shift your weight into the right foot now. Free up your left knee to draw in and then send your left foot up to the ceiling. I want you to feel the action of rooting down through the right foot and lifting up through the left. If this is only in your quads here, can you notice your right heel pressing down and get a little bit of hamstring and glute action in this? Take another breath in. Good, then breath out, both feet down now. Even out the weight into both feet. Notice if your pelvis dropped at all. Can you lengthen your tail to the back of your knees? Lift your chest up. Take one more in and out, and then all the way down. Pause. Just touch the knees together and pause. The urgency here is going to be to draw the knees to your chest. I want you to avoid that and instead take a moment to just be still. One more breath in and out. great job. The feet will stay wide. Let's put some motion back in the body. Windshield wiper the knees. This is also bonus, a great little twist for your spine. So you might notice the hips will shift all the way to one side and all the way to the other. I like taking this variation as well anytime I do something that I'm working deeply into the psoas and into the deep stabilizing muscles of the spine and the core. This is just a nice release for that as well. Good. Hug both of your knees to your chest. Big breath in. Let's come into Shavasana. So as you lay your body out, take up some space and disengage muscle. So once you notice that the bones are set and the body feels heavy, your encouragement then is to notice if there's any tension or tightness in the ankles, the backs of the knees, your waist, your jaw, your wrists, any place where you typically accumulate some tension, let it go. Deeply breathe and slow down. Sometimes the biggest challenge we have when we have weight loss goals or physical goals for ourselves is to pay attention to all of the other benefits that we're getting from moving our body. We challenge our body, we move our body, we also get the mental focus and stamina to endure. And it feels really good to do something that's beneficial for your body. So you might even notice the emotional effects of just feelings of well-being and happiness. Take a few more moments of deep breathing. This is your time to really just let it go, surrender. There's nothing that you need to do right now. One more in and out. Sigh out your breath. Press yourself up to a seat when you're ready. We'll meet seated with our hands at our heart. Great work today. I know that those long holds were tough and you were definitely feeling the burn. I'm really glad that you stuck it out. These are the types of practices that help us build body awareness so that we can take our yoga practice to the next level and we can help tackle any physical challenges or goals that we've set for ourselves. I'm so excited that you've made it this far, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, namaste. Today's bonus tip is all about myth busting some of the ideas that have been put in our head about electrolytes, sports drinks, and whether or not we need them. So, when we sweat and work out, yes, do we lose some of the natural balance of our electrolytes? Absolutely. But our rest and recovery time, as well as how we're hydrating throughout the day, for the most part, does a really great job replenishing our needs. Sports drinks, however, were invented for athletes. That means people who have been going at extreme levels of intensity for, let's say, a game. And they need to be able to refuel really fast. Or they're also really great if you're running a marathon, where you are pushing your body to the absolute limit and you need some fuel so that you can keep going forward. But for most of us, in our daily workout, we don't need all of the stuff that's in one of these. So, what is in one of these? A lot of times, a ton of sugar. And a lot of calories that are kind of empty calories. And when we're thinking about our post-workout fuel, we really want to be fueling up with stuff that our body needs, like lean proteins and complex carbs. Nothing about a sugar that you're going to find in a liquid substance is going to be a complex carb. It's going to be a simple carb. It's going to be a straight shot to the bloodstream, and you're going to get that sugar fast. But other than just giving you that instant boost, it's not really doing much for you. So, a better idea is to work with water. Water's there for you, and it's always available. If you are feeling a little bit depleted, maybe put some lemon juice in your water and keep going. Another thing I do want to talk about is sweating. A lot of times we have these questions of, is sweating better? Maybe, and maybe not. So let's say you live somewhere like Texas, where we are right now, and it's 100 degrees out, and you're going for a 10-mile run. You're going to sweat a lot because your body naturally tries to cool itself through sweating. There is a concept called sweat wasting, and that's when you sweat more than your body can replenish when you are in extreme temperatures or extreme environments. This can happen if you're in a really, really, really hot yoga studio too, where the volume of sweat that you're losing is not necessarily an indicator of how hard you're working, but rather an indicator that your body is trying to keep up and regulate your core temperature. It doesn't mean that you're burning more calories, it just means that your body's trying really, really hard to come back to a normal temperature that's healthy. So when you're in those situations, one, use caution. If you're not used to exercising in extreme heat, then just try it on and don't be afraid to leave class or to cut your run short. Two, be conscientious of hydrating all day long. We want to make sure that we're hydrating, not just chugging a bunch of water before you go into the room, before you head out on your run, but hydrating continuously. This is the best way to ensure that you are taking care of your body's natural, necessary hydration levels and that you won't feel depleted or a little bit dizzy in your workout. And most importantly, listen to your body. When we listen to our body, that means if we get the signal that something is a little bit too extreme, we back off. You might find that for most of us, when we're doing a daily exercise like yoga or just going to the gym, we don't need all of the stuff that's in one of these. We definitely don't need all of that extra sugar. And for most part, our body does a great job balancing all our electrolytes when we are continuously keeping up with a balanced diet and drinking a lot of water. So it's really simple. Balance your diet, drink water, moderate and regulate your exercise so that you're listening to your body. And if you do find yourself in an extreme situation, maybe that's when you do reach for something that's got a little extra punch, or you back off if it feels too extreme for you. And that's it.
Wellness Plus is available on Amazon, which you can stream from your home on your phone, tablet, or TV. Join Wellness Plus today and get your first 7 days free.
Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.